Jared Dillian. Own your money. Own your life.
I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. This is the Jared Dillian Show. I want to talk about grandiosity. You know how you can tell when people can handle their money? Or can't handle their money? I'm sorry. Screwed that up. You know how you can tell when people can't handle their money? When they start paying for everything. You ever seen this? Somebody comes across some money, and then they go to the bar. They're buying rounds for the bar. Hey, it's on me. Round for the bar. Just like complete strangers, they'll just drop a couple $100, buy a round for the bar. That is what I would characterize as grandiose behavior. I've never done that. I've never bought a round for the bar. It's because I have alligator arms. I don't know if you remember this. There was a pitcher for the Yankees. This was about 10 years ago. His name was Joba Chamberlain. Joba Chamberlain, I think, was from Missouri, Arkansas, Nebraska. I think Nebraska. And he grew up poor. He was a poor kid. And big guy, big relief pitcher, threw hard, very intimidating guy. So he made it to the major leagues, and when you make it to the major leagues, you start making the league minimum, which at the time was about $400,000. Now, we can have a discussion about whether $400,000 is a lot of money or isn't a lot of money. He was playing for the Yankees. $400,000 in New York City is not a lot of money. The guy got called up to the major leagues, and he's going around town leaving $500 tips at the bar on a $400,000 salary. So that is a pretty good sign. In fact, not pretty good. That is a foolproof indicator that somebody's going to end up broke. I don't know what happened to Joba, and Joba doesn't pitch anymore. I think he had some surgery, some health problems, but I don't think he made a lot of money in the major leagues, a couple $1,000,000 here and there. And I don't know how he ended up, but I'm going to guess he's probably broke. I don't know. But somebody who leaves $500 tips at the bar when they're making $400,000 a year is probably going to end up broke. I've seen instances where people, a lot of plane ticket buyers. I know 3 or 4 different cases of this. Somebody comes across some money, and there's an event somewhere, and they buy plane tickets for everybody. I know a lot of people that do this. And let's buy 10 plane tickets for people to come out to a wedding or something like that. It's not a good thing to do. One of the reasons that's a bad thing to do is, well, first of all, the people are totally capable of buying the plane tickets themselves. And if they're not, then too bad. But okay. But the problem is when you do that, it does 2 things. Number one, it creates expectations. It creates expectations that you're going to do this in the future, and you're setting people up for disappointment when you don't. And number 2, it makes people think that you have more money than you do. And perhaps that's what you're trying to do. Perhaps you set out to do that. You want people to think you have more money than you actually do, but that's not usually desirable. It's never good when people think you have more money than you do. Bad. You want people to think you have less money than you do. It's one of the reasons I drive a Toyota, because it's, if you looked at me, and we'll talk about this in a second, gifts, right? Giving like very grandiose gifts, very expensive gifts. That's another thing. So some people get money and they spend it on themselves, and other people get money and they spend it on other people. So that's fine, because you say, well, hey, I'm generous. I'm a generous guy. I'm being generous. Okay. Check your motives. Why are you doing this? Is this about being a good person? Is this about being truly generous? Or is this about showing off that you have money? If you look at me, like, I dress very cool. I am a cool dresser. And I have a good haircut. I actually got a haircut today. But aside from that, you wouldn't really be able to tell that I have money furthermore, I have tattoos, and people with tattoos usually don't have money. I drive a Toyota, and I never at any point in time dropped $300 at the bar. That was not behavior that I engaged in. I give big tips, but that's different. It's different. My experience is that when people do this, they want people to think that they have lots of money. But like I said, there is nothing worse than people thinking that you have money. It's actually it's the worst thing in the world. Then they will be asking you for money, and then you're setting people up for disappointment. So I've had two different experiences with this. So I lived in New York City, and if you've never lived in New York is unlike any place in the world. And there's so much money, it's just stupid. There's stupid amounts of money, and everybody is rich. And even people that aren't rich are like trustafarians, and they're getting money from their parents. So everybody have tons of money. In New York, if I see there's tons of people walking around in suits, okay, nobody's going to walk up to them and ask them for money because it's just New York. Like, everybody has money. If you're living in a place that's more economically depressed and you have a fancy car and fancy clothes and all that stuff, then you're going to run into situations where you're the only one that looks like they have money, and people are going to ask you for money, which is awkward. So do not be grandiose with your money. And this, by the way, this dissertation that I'm doing on this is these are the things to think about when you get rich. Not stupidly rich, but when you come across some money, okay? You have to check your motives. Why am I doing this? Do I want people to think I'm a big shot? If you really have a need to get rid of money, like if you just want to get rid of it, there's plenty of places to get rid of it. There's, charities and worthy causes, and you can donate it anonymously, which is a separate topic. Like, I highly recommend, by the way, if you donate money, I highly recommend that you do it anonymously. I screwed this up the other day. I donated some money to an animal shelter, and it had the option, like, you can click the box and it says you can do it anonymously. And I'm like, I'll have my name on the website. And I'm like, that was stupid. Like, I just, what am I doing? Like, that's dumb. So it's all about checking your motives. Do you want people to see your name on a plaque somewhere? Do you want to see your name on a building? Or do you really want to do good? I mean, the other thing about being rich is that donating money is easy. If you really want to do something hard, then you donate time. Okay. And I think about that all the time. I have money, but what I don't have is time. And what I would like to do, what would be more meaningful, is to actually donate time. And I just have a shortage of time, which is why I end up taking the easy way out and donating money. By the way, this whole grandiosity thing, like, professional athletes are notorious for this. By the way, there's an Instagram model that I will confess to following. Her name is Kristen Harper. She's gorgeous. And she's dating the quarterback for the LA Rams, Jared Goff. And I was like, how much does this guy make? And I looked it up, and he's making, as the quarterback for the LA Rams, he's making $34 million a year, and he's 25 years old. I'm like, all right, I can't compete there. Some people actually are generous to a fault. There are people like that. They are very generous people, and they're generous to a fault, and they give and they give and they give and they give, and they have nothing left for themselves. And I've met people like that. And I should caution you that there should be limits to your generosity. There should be limits to your generosity. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Pay yourself first, and then take care of everybody else. I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show.
The Jared Dillian Show.